My lying girlfriend planned a 6-week-long hiking trip with her guy friend, and I guess she didn't think it was important to tell me the friend is her ex. My girlfriend and I dated for a few months during 2020, but we broke up and spent a year and a half apart. We got back together last winter and have been together again for 3 months. During that year we were apart. She had a relationship with a coworker who she was also living with, but she called it a situationship. Also during that year, they backpacked several hundred miles of the Pacific Crest Trail together. They both moved to separate cities last fall after the hike, but decided to remain friends and made plans to return to hike another several hundred miles of the same trail this upcoming summer. My girlfriend and I started talking again last fall, about 1 month after they parted ways. While we were talking, she invited me to join them over the summer, and I planned to join for part of it, about 4 weeks long. She never mentioned that they had any romantic relationship while telling me about her time living with him, his family, or her time backpacking with him. I thought they were just friends. Pretty soon after officially getting back together a few months ago, we were discussing boundaries, and I told her explicitly that I expected her to tell me if she had any romantic history with any friends who are currently still in her life, especially if me and her were going to spend time with said person. She acknowledged how I felt, and I appreciated it, but she didn't mention anyone to me. A month later, we were discussing how the summer hiking trip would go with the three of us. Since they would be hiking without me for the first few weeks, we were discussing the tent situation. She mentioned wanting to sleep in a separate tent than him during the part of the trip that it was just the two of them. I was confused and asked why, since it made more sense for them to share a tent, splitting the weight of a two-person tent, and then me and her could have our own tent when I joined them. She seemed kind of iffy on the idea of them sharing a tent, but she didn't tell me why. In retrospect, it seems likely she herself wasn't comfortable with the idea of sharing a tent with a former partner without telling me their history. She recently told me about their history and I'm very hurt. Of course everyone has a right to their own past, and I don't want or need to know every detail of every guy she's ever been with, but I feel very betrayed that she would hide her history with someone that she was going to spend so much alone time with, and invited me to spend time with them without telling me in advance. To me, it feels very relevant to know this information when it comes to former partners who are currently in both of our lives in a big way, like spending 100% of every day together for 6 weeks. I directly told her I felt this way, but she ignored me and omitted the information. I'm really hurt by what is happening and feel like it will be hard to trust her moving forward. From her perspective, I can understand that if she was afraid I would break up with her after hearing this, she wouldn't want to tell me. But I don't know why she would be worried about that. I don't think there's anything wrong with being friends with